In this video, I'm gonna share with you how I went from a 35% win rate to a 70% and even 100% win rate in the month of July. So as you can see here, for example, in the month of June, I took my first trade on Monday, and that was actually a half risk trade. And then I spent pretty much the rest of the week and then one full week and then even 2 weeks without taking a single trade. Now, of course, there were some trades to be taken. You are always going to skip trades, and maybe you are also going to miss trades. And then pretty much I traded in the final week of June. I had a winning trade here, a break-even trade here, and a loss here on Friday, which could have absolutely been avoided. So pretty much those are 7 trades for a 71% win rate. And then in July, I took my first trade on the 3rd of July here, Wednesday. That is let's make it in percentages. That was a 2%, right? Then in the second week here, those are, I was testing a trade copier. So those are, you can see 25 cents and 3 cents. Those do not count. Then I took one trade here during this week and then one trade here on the 24th of July. And then pretty much towards, today is the first that I'm recording, I haven't taken any trades. So there we go. In terms of percentages, 6% in July and almost 2% in June. Alright fanatics, welcome to the Trading Fanatic channel. This channel is all about helping you become the best version of a trader you can be by equipping you with the right mindsets, strategies, and of course keeping it real. Now I have 70 plus topics that I want to talk about in terms of psychology and technicals, but I really like to talk about recent things that happen in my own trading and recent kind of realizations that I have because they're fresh and I really want to share them with you immediately. So if you actually want to be the first one to be learning about my reflections, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. I'm gonna leave it as the first link down in the description. I send a lot of amazing stuff right there. So right now, let's talk about win rate. So firstly, let's talk about the sacrifice of having a high win rate and pretty much break that myth that having a high win rate is like that only thing that we should be going towards. Because I know a lot of traders, all they think about is, all right, how can I get that 100% win rate, right? And is this something that you should really go for? Is this the right focus that you should have as a trader? We're going to talk about this throughout this video. But pretty much, let me spoil it for you. Your win rate can be controlled because your win rate depends on 2 factors, your risk to reward ratio and your trade frequency. Okay? And so pretty much there is that correlation. The higher your risk to reward ratio goes, so if you're like going for 5-hour trades, for 10-hour trades, the lower your win rate is going to be. Why? Well, because not a lot of trades are going to be hitting those big RR numbers, right? Let's just be real, okay? If you have, for example, traders who are just targeting 10-hour trades, and I used to be that guy, all right? You might have maybe one of those trades to hit, and then you have 10 other losses that don't hit. So at the end of the day, your win rate is going to be low, okay? And then the other thing that pretty much controls your win rate is your trade frequency. So how much exposure do you have to the market? How often are you trading? How often are you taking risk? Because every single trade that you take, of course, is associated with risk. It could be a loss, all right? So the more you trade, the lower your win rate is going to be. Because again, you get a lot of exposure, okay? But now it's not just that. I mean, you can be trading a lot. All right, so you might be taking, like, for example, a lot of trades every day, but if you're targeting a very low win rate, because I have also seen traders who have like a 90% win rate, but they go for a 0.2 to a 0.5 risk to reward ratio, which is pretty much even below 1-to-1. So they have a very high win rate, but they just take a trade here and take it out here, right? And they, at the end of the day, they really need to maintain that high win rate in order to be profitable. And I don't even know if you can be profitable like this, okay? So your win rate is pretty much all about the balance between your risk to reward ratio and the trade frequency. So right now I want to walk you through my own journey and pretty much to maybe give you some inspiration of what you can go through, what you can adopt into your own trading, what actually feels better for you. So let's go on my tablet and actually have a look at it. Alright, here we are on the tablet. So right now I want to walk you through my journey. So starting a couple of years back, I was trading a lot. I was extremely mechanical, and what I was literally doing is I was looking at the 4-hourly time frame, okay? Then using that as a hard time frame, then I was looking pretty much on the 15-minute time frame for my intraday structure, and then I was entering on the 1-minute time frame. So 3 time frames, very, very, very simple. But then for example, my trade frequency was, I think I was taking around 2 to 3 trades, right? Trades per day. And then my win rate at that time was around 30%. All right. And my risk to reward at that time, I was young and dumb, right? And I was looking to target 5 to 10 RR. Okay. So you can see in this case, okay, there were a couple of problems. I was targeting an extremely big risk to reward ratio because at that time I was also watching some things like just the SMC guys started coming out with their paper trades, and they were sharing like these massive sniper entries with 2 pip stop losses and how they went to 20R trades. And I was like, whoa, man, I want to do this. Okay. But that was a little bit of a lie that got a lot of us into a trap of trying to chase all of those massive risk to reward trades and massively dropping our win rate and pretty much not being able to maintain a consistently growing equity curve. And so pretty much also, I was extremely mechanical. I literally ignored the hourly time frame. Of course, I was looking at it, but my main focus was absolutely on the 50-minute time frame because I thought, okay, I just need to know where the market is going to go today. And I thought that the 50-minute time frame was the perfect time frame for that. So for example, I was staying on the charts for 8 hours every day, okay? And I was literally looking for the 50-minute to break structure, demand zone, and then trade from that. To make a trend change down and then trade from that. Then I make a trend change up and then trade from that, okay? And what that did is it gave me an absolutely low win rate, like sometimes even fell below 30%, okay? And to get to the point, how my equity curve actually looked at that time, it looked like this. You start, loss, 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 loss. All right, you take a win, 5R, woohoo, right? Loss, 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 whoop. All right, good, a win. Loss, 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 right? Oop, a win. Okay, and what is happening? You're not growing. You're just moving sideways. Okay? So at that time, I was literally not making progress. I was also, there is the other thing is that when you are trading extremely mechanically like this, staying for 8 hours on the charts, however, had a situation at which you take a very nice trade, it looks pretty good, okay? And then it hits stop loss. And then there is another trade, and that trade you don't take, and it goes to a win, okay? And then the next trade you take, it goes to the stop loss, okay? Or at first you jump on the charts, and somehow you got distracted, and then you miss the winning trade, but then you jump onto another trade, and that's a stop loss, and then you get angry, and then you start taking other trades, and there were also losses. So you're always seeming like you are running away from the wins, and all you are jumping on is the losses. So you only take losses and you always seem to be skipping the wins, okay? So if you are in this situation, you might be having this sort of problem. You might be extremely mechanical, right? You might be missing setups because you don't know exactly when and exactly where from to be looking for those setups, right? And very likely you're also going for a very high risk to reward ratio, okay? So that was my phase number 1. Then I pretty much reflected on all of that, okay? And what I did is I added another time frame. So I started looking on the daily time frame together with the hourly time frame, okay? And then the 15-minute, and then still the 1-minute time frame for my entries. Now, adding the daily time frame immediately increased my win rate because I started looking a little bit more at the bias, okay? I started looking a little bit more at the direction, and I also started paying a little bit more attention to the hourly time frame and where the market is positioned on the 15-minute. Because oftentimes, for example, in the past, I would be so mechanical that the market has already moved massively like this on the 15-minute, and then I look to go long from here, right? From that 15-minute zone, and then the market just does this. And I was like, okay, well, I missed all of these bullish moves, and then I took on this one and it hit a stop loss. Well, of course, because then I was not really looking on the higher time frames, okay? So then what happened is I also decreased my trade frequency. So I probably went to 1 trade a day, all right? So trade frequency, also trading Fanatic, 1 trade per day, okay? Then my risk to reward also, I was still going for 5 hours, so I was very dumb. I was still going for 5 hours, but I started also being satisfied with 3 risk to reward ratio as well. And then my win rate as a result of that became around 50%. Okay, not really 50%. I'm gonna write it down 40 because it was literally around 40 to 50%. Okay, so I'm gonna take it 40% like right here. So what this actually made to my equity curve, it's literally started growing. And I'm going to show you an example. Again, of course, like you start, take some losses, then you win, then you take some losses, then you win, then you take some losses, then you win, right? Take some losses, win. And literally my equity curve was looking like this, right? I finally started making money. I finally started being consistent, right? I was finally starting to build a track record as well. And then at that time, I made the dumbest mistake probably of, no, it's not the dumbest mistake of my trading career, but I made a super dummy mistake to think that I could be trading more, because right now my trade frequency was very low and there were times at which I wasn't even trading every day. But I thought at that time that I have to be trading every day. Every day there is a move, every day you have to capitalize, because I was also being fed the mindset that you gotta capitalize every day there is a move, you can always know where the market is going, like every day there is the bias, the market is always going to a drawn liquidity every single day, so I thought that I have to be trading every day. And also at that time you experience something emotional, because you're starting to make progress, you think that you could be making more progress, so you don't continue doing the basics that actually work. So maybe a lot of you are in the boat of you maybe pass your funded challenge, or you maybe start getting a little bit more, you start getting on a little bit of a flow, you start getting some positive results, and then something dumb in your head goes on and you think, I have to be doing more. So then what I did at this precise point right here, I started adding time frames. So I added here the 30-minute time frame, and I added here the 5-minute time frame as a separate entry model. I added indices, right? Forget about the handwriting. I added indices where I have never traded indices, and all of a sudden I decided to add indices because I was mainly trading London session with this strategy, and I thought, well, I could be trading New York and be making more money. Okay? And then since that point, because I literally changed my strategy, I literally stopped doing what worked, my equity curve literally started looking like that. All right? And I'm actually going to share an example with you, because that's like a real story. Okay? And then at that time, I pretty much forgot what I was doing here, and it was time to go back to the drawing board. Okay? So that is my phase 2. Okay? And then pretty much getting on to where I am right now. Okay? Let me find an empty space. I really had to look at everything, what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. And I just finally became sustainable and realistic. Okay? I right now added the monthly time frame. I look at the weekly time frame, daily time frame, 4-hourly time frame, and even the 1-hourly time frame. Okay? And pretty much those 2 time frames are kind of really macro. I don't look at them a lot, but these 3 time frames here, this trifecta of time frames, are extremely important to me right now, because if those 3 time frames are not clear, so actually kind of there is a daily and 4-hourly time frame here. I'm not going to explain my strategy right now, but daily and 4-hourly time frame are more intra-week, okay? And then 4-hourly and 1-hourly time frame are more intraday. So I have to get those 2 things aligned, and only then I am dropping to the 50-minute time frame, and I remove the 1 minute, and all I'm trading right now is the 5 minutes. So 50-minute and 5-minute time frame for my entries. And guess what? All right? My win rate is right now 70%. So 70% win rate. My risk to reward and again win rate is this, because I have also 2R risk to reward ratio, and my trade frequency, it's not even 1 trade a week. Not to say before I was taking 1 trade a day, but it's not even 1 trade a week. And again, I don't have a trade frequency right now, because I don't know how many trades I'm gonna be taking. I don't anymore think in terms of trading every day. I think in terms of 1 good trade per week. All right, that is all I think about right now. And this low trade frequency with a low risk to reward ratio has absolutely skyrocketed my win rate. And right now my equity curve looks like this. It has long periods of actually not doing anything, then I take a win. Long periods not doing anything, take a win. Maybe a loss, long period, take a win. And this is a nice growth. Okay? But also it has a lot of disadvantages, which are right now I'm gonna go and actually talk to you about. So this is what I went through. Maybe you are right now in one of those buckets. Of course, right now I'm going to start very slowly working on increasing my win rate, because through data, I can see that actually those very good trades because I'm so focused on that one good trade per week that one good trade usually goes for 5, for 6, for 7 R, and I'm only taking 2 of it. So it's either going to be working on scaling in to ensure that I capitalize a little bit more on that, or maybe just increasing my risk to reward ratio right now to 3R. And if you increase risk to reward, then that will impact win rate. Maybe win rate could go to 65%. Because not all the trades are going to hit 3R. I have a lot of trades that just hit 2R and then go to break even. Okay, so it's all about finding that balance, which right now I want to talk to you about it. So the point that I try to make is that you can make the same monthly results by taking 3 trades per month, and you can also make the same result by taking 30 trades per month, right? Taking 3 trades per month is going to require an extreme level of patience, discipline, and pretty much having a detachment from the charts, right? Knowing when to step aside and knowing actually when to really jump in. And on the other hand, taking 30 trades per month will take you an extreme level of also dedication and discipline, because you have to be constantly showing up, you have to be sitting on the charts, looking at all the setups, looking at all the little details, and of course taking all of those trades, okay? And the main question that goes right now, that goes for you, is what do you want? How do you want to trade? What are you actually good with? Because win rate is a variable, it's not a constant. As I told you, your win rate can be controlled, right? Decrease your risk to reward ratio, win rate is gonna go up. Decrease your trade frequency, your win rate will very likely also go up. So the win rate is not something that you just must be obsessed over and really always trying to find that way to increase your win rate. And just because, for example, your backtesting session showed you 55% win rate, which I have been doing a lot, right? My backtesting session was always spot on, but then I jump on the live markets and all of a sudden I have a 35% win rate. Why? Well, then because you start missing trades, you start making emotional mistakes, and pretty much you're trading brand new market. It is live market. This is why your backtesting results and win rate is never going to be replicated on the live markets. And then of course, just because, for example, myself, I had a 70% win rate in June and I had a 100% win rate in July, that does not mean in August, I'm not gonna have a 30% win rate, because I might just jump into some losses that are just valid losses. And that's the next point. Always trying to constantly improve your win rate and find a cure for your losses is oftentimes a useless task, because some of the losses are just normal losses. And so if you find yourself always like, okay, how can I avoid this trade? How can I increase my win rate? How can I really make sure that this loss doesn't happen again, so I'm gonna have a higher win rate? Could be a useless things to do, and that is the wrong focus that you might have. So once again, find out what you like and also what works for you. Myself, I really wanted to step away from the chart because, again, in my first 2 phases of my trading, I was constantly on the charts. I couldn't go out, I couldn't really go to have a lunch because the 50 minutes is gonna shift and I'm gonna miss the trade. And I didn't like this. And I always had this situation that I always seemed to have missed the winners, and I always seemed to have landing on the losses. And then I just wanted to change this. I really wanted to get a deeper understanding of the hard time frames, and I really just wanted to step away from the charts, relax a little bit, and like an ego, just observe the market from the top, knowing when to exactly launch into the prey. And this is what I'm doing right now, and this is why I'm only taking, for example, 1 trade per week, because I only want to catch that one good trade that is gonna make me 2 to 3%, and if I can replicate this every week, well, that is your 6 to 8% per month, which is gonna be enough for you to pass challenges and pretty much to be making money. And right now I pretty much frame my weeks, I frame my days, I know exactly on which days to be trading, I know exactly on which days I should just take a break, I know exactly at what time I have to be jumping in and at what time I have to step away, right? And this gives me pretty much a lot of freedom, and I pretty much started enjoying trading once again. And when you enjoy trading and when you're focused on the processes, results show up, okay? So the to-do action for you right now is to pretty much ask yourself, what do I like and what do I want to do? Are you okay with stomaching a lot of losses in a row, right? But then taking one win that covers it back up? Can you pretty much remain stable? Do you have the focus to be staying on the charts all day and maybe looking for all of those setups to happen? Then you might be that person who has, for example, a higher risk to reward ratio, like let's say 3 to 5R, and maybe even you have a higher trade frequency, okay? Just again, ensure that you have that balance, because again, as I told you, I know guys with 90% win rate who are taking like 0.5 hour trades. Is that profitable? Maybe. Okay, but is this something that you want to do? I don't know. Or are you the type of trader who just wants to, like me, step back, relax, watch the market from a distance, and then always, for example, have a very high win rate on the setups that you know that they're going to play out? Okay, and then pretty much just be there at that precise time and make sure to flawlessly execute. Because again, you have that one shot to pretty much kill your prey. The win rate is not going to determine your profitability. This is just a very small variable that you just pretty much have to be aware with, right? You have to find out more about yourself, what you like, what you dislike, and then you have to pretty much control that win rate and tackle it accordingly, pretty much to who you are as a person, okay? So I want to conclude it here. I hope this was insightful. I just want to talk about this because I was recently reflecting on, of course, my high win rate, and I was like, okay, do I really want this? Do I want to maybe decrease a little bit? Do I maybe want to take a couple of more trades and maybe drop my win rate a little bit, or do I want to keep it like that? Because again, having a high win rate like this, for me, right, it's taking 2 little trades. So of course, in order for you to make more faster progress, like it just wouldn't happen, okay? So it's all about that constant, of course, tweaking, that constant reflection, that constant improvement, okay? But don't forget, if something works for you, just keep doing the basics, okay? If something works, it doesn't matter if 30% win rate works for you, just keep doing it. Don't look to increase the win rate, because then you're going to change variables and you're going to enter into another losing streak that is going to take you another year to then put back on the winning curve, okay? So find out what works for you, and I want you to let me know in the comments what type of trader you are, right? Are you looking for high risk to reward, like higher trade frequency, or are you trading like very little, but then you're also targeting maybe a bigger risk to reward, or are you targeting a smaller risk to reward and you're trading very little, for example, like me, but your win rate is super high and you're pretty much stacking all those wins? Let me know in the comments what you learned from this video, and let me know also any future topics that you want me to talk to, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.